a message mentioning that this is being shared to a third party. That would be to Zoom. And also we're gonna go to Facebook, the Facebook group. Did it work? Yes. Okay, good. And we already have someone watching us. Perfect. Let's just share it to the Facebook page. I'm sorry I can't do this before we sign on. It doesn't let me. Um, oh no, will it only let me stream to one place? It looks like it only streams to one place. Okay, so I'm going to share this the YouTube link in our group. And hopefully um okay. That should be sharing. All right, I'll pin that to the top. Let me remove that. Okay, hopefully everyone can find us that wants to. It looks like we've got a bunch of friends have joined us so far. And I'm going to share my screen. And I can't wait to show off all of your pictures of your shawls. And if you have any questions about anything, please feel free. You're welcome to unmute. Let me know what you're wondering and how I can help you. Presenter's view. Let's put this up here. And let's share the screen. And we'll dive into this together. Okay, so let me know if you see oh, I wasn't supposed to share that yet. Let's go back. So there's news coming later. But for now, you should see Trust Fall Shawl progress party. So if you were watching a second ago, you got a little sneak peek. That's okay. Of something exciting I have been working hard in the back end for you. So welcome everyone. Thank you for your patience while I got all of the technology set up. Facebook made some changes to how group owners are allowed to share. So I'm still sorting out the best ways to do that for you all. I used to be able to go just directly live whenever I wanted in all the different places. And they have made that a little bit different. So Lonnie is on YouTube, says hi from Dallas, and Amrita says hello. And let's see about on Zoom. Where we are. Show meeting. Okay, so let's see. Let me open that chat window. So if you have questions, you're always welcome to ask those in the chat. You can also unmute and we will celebrate all of your progress on these shawls. I know that some of you had a little bit of trouble with the stitch counts and stuff. So I had shared tips throughout in the group, and hopefully those helped you along your way. A lot of you have made wonderful progress, but there's no knitter left behind. So if you're struggling with something, please reach out. Let me know what you're struggling with so that I can hopefully make the whole process and everything easier for you. Okay, so I need to go to a different window to advance the slides. Here we go. All right. So I do want to just extend a huge, huge thank you to all of you who have taken the time to create your projects on Ravelry, to share your progress in the Facebook groups, in the Stitch Society group, in the Double the Stitches the group, and anywhere else that you have shared. I have loved seeing all of the beautiful yarns that you have chosen. I've loved seeing how you have supported your local yarn stores through this project, or even just joined because it looked like something fun that you'd like to create. And I was really thrilled to see when I looked this morning that there were 63 projects created for this pattern so far. So I'm going to share a lot of pictures with you all. I've got a lot of slides. And I can't wait to dive into all of that. And I also want to say that it does not matter how slow you go. If you are the tortoise, if you are the hare, the biggest thing to remember is just don't give up. Don't give up on the project. Don't, put it in time out. There, are a little bit of difficulty sometimes making sure that your stitch count is right. It's usually a missing yarn over. I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. But I think that this is an attainable project for a large majority of knitters. For those of you who are more advanced, those stockinette sections, you might breeze through them. They might become social knitting for you, or TV binge watching knitting for you, or watch the kids or the grandkids play soccer or whatever sports, whatever things they might be up to. But I think that I designed this with the idea that it would be a more attainable project, that it wouldn't be crazy complicated, that it wouldn't require a lot of complicated stitches. I wanted to make this attainable, and I hope that you are finding it to be that for yourselves. I'm going to just take a quick pop over to the chat and see what comments we have here. Christina says, good morning, awake now. So that replay of my interview with Nora from Finished Knits is on YouTube. Christina, you can watch that whenever you want. It's there for you. Or anyone else who wants to see it. It's on the YouTube channel. Sylvia says hi from Boca Raton, where I am babysitting. Hi, Sylvia. I'm glad you're able to join us. And Donna says hi, everyone. I joining from work while I eat my lunch. Wish I was home knitting on my shawl instead. I wish you were too, Donna. And she also said, I'd like to thank you, Jessica, for giving the stitch counts for each row. It's helped me catch my mistakes before I've gotten too far. So whenever the stitch counts are going to change on a row, you'll always find that I give you that information in the patterns. I want you to be able to, like you said, find the mistake before it grows exponentially into something that isn't simple to as simple to tweak and to fix. Okay, so I wanted to dive in and share some of your progress. Sorry, my slides are getting a little out of whack. Here we go. So Dana W shared that she was just now getting to start, but loved it so far, and thank you for writing a lovely and easy to follow pattern. Even for us newbies, you are the best. And just before I came on live, she shared her slow but steady progress on her shawl. She's got some stitch markers in there. And that's helping her, to keep on track. But it's not entirely necessary to do the stitch markers, but if they help you, if they make you feel more comfortable, the stitch markers sometimes get a little bit confusing on a pattern like this because you are increasing on both ends on both sides of the row. So just keep in mind that those first and last stitches, stitch sections are growing. So you can add as those grow, but in between those, I think those should work out. But I'm all about whatever makes you feel comfortable, confident, empowered, all of those things with your knitting. And we had some updates from KR, who was halfway into section 10 on May 26th. And just one day later, shared her finished Trust Fall Shawl. And I love the self-striping yarn that she used there. Just checking to see if there's any comments about the pattern. Okay. And on YouTube, I think I see a comment there too. So let's see if anyone has a question for me there, and then we will keep on going. Lonnie said, I'm in section 11 of the Trust Fall Shawl home stretch coming, and that they watched Bridgerton season 3 part while knitting the Trust Fall Shawl. So I just actually started watching. I am on like episode 3, I think, of season 2. So don't spoil it for me. I'm a little late to the party, but I'm really enjoying it and loving the show. Okay, let's go back to sharing more pictures. Alice shared that she used hand-dyed yarn from Creative Twist Yarn Shop, and she had already gotten to wear hers. I love the pink and all the speckles in there. They did a beautiful job dyeing that yarn. And I looked around on Ravelry too, and I saw that Nana 9 Knits finished their Trust Fall Shawl in just 16 days. They put a start date and an end date, and I love that ability to keep track of the pattern and how it's going, and how long it's taken you. Because if you write that down on a piece of paper, you're going to lose it, but add it to your Ravelry project, and you will always know how long it actually took you. And speaking of Lonnie, who's joining us on YouTube, this was way back in repeat number 7, but she was speeding along. And then another update a couple of days later Lonnie was almost through repeat number 9. And she is using a variegated yarn by Blue Mule Fiber. And like we were just saying, it's become a Netflix and chill pattern. Lots of people were wondering how the pattern would look in a variegated yarn, and so I loved that Lonnie took that risk, that chance, and picked up a variegated yarn instead of a solid. And I love being able to share with you different knitters' choices for their yarn and how it all looks together. Carrie had shared an update on her Trust Fall Shawl progress and keeping on the line of using tools that are available to you, different ways to keep on track, to keep on target, and to not worry about making mistake. Carrie is using a lifeline inserted in the stockinette section so that when she goes to do those 3 to 2 stitches, if there's a mistake and she needs to rip back, she knows that her work up until that lifeline is good and is safe, and so she can't rip back past that. She doesn't have to worry about that. So she's probably ready to put another lifeline in soon, I would think. And also on Ravelry, Knit for Fun shared their progress. I think in the comments they said that it was more of like a blue-green yarn than how it came in the picture. But I'm also really loving the variegated, the shaded, the tonal, the changing of the colors. It's a really pretty yarn choice there. And let's see. And yes, Amrita said stitch count table is super helpful. And I find stitch markers by tens in the middle helpful. Then I only need to count the extra stitches on the end. That's a great way of doing it. I love that. Sonia has some advice for you. Sonia says, don't knit while tired. Sometimes, we all push ourselves to just a little bit more, just another row, just another section. And then sometimes we find we make a mistake when we wake up to pick up our project the next day. So sometimes it's, a few steps forward, a few steps back, but I know you'll get there soon, Sonia. And another of a variegated yarn. This is Knitty 0619 on Ravelry, was also using hand-dyed yarn, and also shared in their Ravelry project. Not only is there a picture of the shawl in progress, you could see what the yarn looks like here in the background when it's still in the skein, and then also you can see what it looks like when it is wound up into a cake. So you can kind of see it at all 3 steps, And I find that really helpful in my experience working, myself and also with knitters. That's something that a lot of knitters are very unsure of what how the yarn looks in the skein and how it will look when it's actually knit up. So thank you for taking the time to share all of those pictures. And this was another update from Carrie on her Trust Fall Shawl progress. So she's really making great progress. And I'm so, so proud of all of you. Amy H says slow and steady. I'm having to check my stitch count after each row and wondered if anyone else was using lifelines. So I know that there were a lot of knitters, a lot of chat about lifelines in the Facebook group. And Dorothy shared in the Facebook group. So you guys can take a look at that later. I'll see if I can share that later also. And Janice L said that she had to quit after section 10 and the border due to yarn dilats. She has either 4 rows or 8 rows left, but she needs to stop because she has to pack for a Rhinestone River cruise and to bring home some yarn from her trip to Amsterdam, where she's going to Stephen West to get some yarn. So I can't wait to see what she brings back to show us all. Oh, one suggestion that I had made to Janice, and I'm not sure if she tried it, but she had the dialect changed. I think she got through, I'm thinking it's 2 skeins, and the third one maybe was a very different shade because it's hand dyed. And what my suggestion was to use that different shade, that outlier, use that for the border. And I think that the dialect might not be as noticeable, or even if it is noticeable, it might look intentional. The thing that we try to avoid as knitters is where it doesn't look intentional, where it looks, that the color changes midway through, or in a random spot, like say on your stockinette stitch. But if you make the change where the color, the dialect, where the stitch changes is what I'm trying to say. If you change the dialect where the stitch changes, like for the border, I think that it will look like it belongs there. And oh, Victoria asked in the chat if I put yours up yet. No, you didn't miss it. You're actually 2 slides in 2 slides, so almost there. Okay, and let's keep going with those slides. Okay, there we go. And so this was Carla S was ready to start section 11, and I love the light lavender color that she picked for her shawl. It's very pretty. And here you go, Victoria. I'm so glad that you're here. She is on her way after some frogging. She's got stitch markers. She's got lifelines. And I saw it in the comments and I wanted to share. It was such a sweet and encouraging comment. So hope you don't mind, Victoria. She said, please do this shawl. Don't let my or others' difficulties stop you. You may just breeze through it like it's nothing. I am having difficulty because I've never made a shawl before and I'm learning new stitches too. Good luck and enjoy the process. I am even with difficulties. So I'm very proud of you for that outlook, and I'm very proud of you for tackling this project, taking it on as your first shawl. There's so much to learn in knitting. There's always something new. There's different stitches. There's different types of projects. And so I hope that you enjoy this project, and I hope that it's something that you hang on to and you cherish as your first shawl. Is a really special thing, and I'm honored that I get to be a part of that project for you. Kathy initially had shared that she hadn't had a lot of time to work on her shawl because she was dog sitting for 4 doxies. That'll keep anyone busy, I think. And then Kathy updated that she was working on the 6th repeat. And Crafty Judy Jean on Ravelry said that she was enjoying this pattern. and that it keeps her on her toes with the new stitch, but otherwise she's finding it easy and she is loving how this shawl is coming together. And she's excited that she might be done before June 8th. And I love the little the flecks of white you can see in the yarn. And so that was a beautiful project. And Jackie was just getting ready to finish the 7th repeat of her shawl. And she did it in a really pretty neutral color. And I am just making sure that there are no comments or anything that I am missing from you all. And Kathy V completed her shawl in just 1 month. She was excited that she got the Della Q, the project bag for local yarn store day, and she picked a really pretty yarn color. And I spotted on Ravelry that J Marin W is making theirs a summer shawl using some beautiful Noro yarn. I can't wait to see how that comes together too. And Roxanne W just started and is using a fingering weight. So they went with a smaller needle, and it just means more repeats. But she also got an extra skein of yarn, so no issues about running out of yarn. And I'm excited to see what that looks like too. And I spy one of my favorite knitting tools there, a row counter, and I don't knit without it if I can avoid it. That looks like the ones from Twice Shared Sheep, who are my absolute favorites. And Susan B, I don't know if you're here with us, Susan, shared, I love working with this yarn, and I'm almost at the beginning of the 7th section. I've been counting stitches, using my stitch markers, and I have been on target most of the time. And she said, as Jessica thought, it's the yarn overs that catch me off the proper stitch count. I found it, especially that yarn over at the end, I think it's row 11, that it's very easy to forget to do that yarn over. So keep an eye out for that that tricky one. And she has a celebration too. She said, Jessica, I'm actually going to have it for my 75th birthday. So I think that that's definitely something to celebrate, having your hand knit shawl to wear on a special occasion. I love that. And Nancy C shared her very beginning. So that was exciting to see. I love, that starting point of a project and knowing how much more time you have with your yarn and to enjoy the process. But to document, where you started and when you started, I think is a beautiful thing too. And Trisha VW just finished the 7th repeat on this really pretty deep shade of purple. And I have to give some applause to Betty Sue. She is keeping track. She is using the stitch count table that we were talking about earlier. So it helps you know what row you're working, what your starting count was, how many stitches you're increasing, what your final count for the row is, and what row you're repeating, which I think is especially helpful. It makes it easy to refer back to the pattern. If you put it down, you'll know as long as you mark those off, you'll know exactly what you are up to and what to do next. And Cheryl S shared that she is enjoying this pattern, and I love that yarn bowl that's in the background there. And it's been nice to see your progress in the pictures where you started and have that yarn bowl kind of for size comparison. It helps to see how it's growing. And Rita also said, I'm a beginner, would like to learn how to add a lifeline. I think I have a video for that. I'll look for that for you. But the general idea for adding a lifeline is if you are using an interchangeable knitting needle, a lot of them have a little hole where you can slide the yarn through. Some people use dental floss. You definitely want to use a yarn that is nice and smooth, and you want to use something that is thinner than the yarn that you are knitting with so that it doesn't stretch out your stitches. But the general idea is that you're taking a piece of yarn, putting it through your stitches at a point, in this case where you know that everything is correct. There are different types of yarn overs. I have a little mini workshop that teaches all about lifelines and knitting lace and all of those things. Let me see if I can pull that up and I can add that into, yeah, I can. Okay, so I put that in on YouTube. And now let me find the chat over here for anyone on Zoom. But Stitch Society members, you already have access to this workshop. So you don't need to buy it, you already have it. But if you're new to me and not a part of the paid membership, that is available as a standalone class. And speaking of Amrita, here is the progress picture that I had from you. And it looks like you had just started when you shared it that weekend, and you already got through learning the special 3-2 stitch that's part of the shawl. So way to go. I'm excited that you're here and you get to see your picture and your name on the screen. I love that. And Sarah B says 10 repeats and she's getting closer. And then she posted that she was ready to start the border. So you guys are moving along very quickly. I'm so excited to see all of that. Paige G had shared a picture and said that they were on the 3rd repeat. And Cindy R said that she just finished the 5th section and she's loving how her color change is going. I'd love to know, Cindy, if that was a self-striping yarn or if you were changing yarn colors, because that looks like it changed in pretty much a perfect spot. And Gail says, life got in the way when I first started my Trust Fall Shawl. My second attempt is going much better. 2 repeats complete and my stitch count is right on. So way to go for that. And Ruthie S says, slowly but surely making progress on my Trust Fall Shawl. Since I'm so new to knitting, I'm really slow. And she's got a furry friend joining us there. And Sylvia shared the start of her Trust Fall Shawl. So I know you're here hanging out with us. And let me just see if there's any other comments so far. No, keeping track of comments in the Facebook group, the YouTube channel, the live Zoom. Just bouncing all over the place a little bit. And this was Darla M said, I have frogged twice. I get to row 12 and I am 1 stitch short twice. My first section was fine and can't get beyond 12 or beyond the second section. So like I mentioned before, and this is just general, definitely something to keep in mind. If you're finding yourself that you are 1 stitch short, it's a missing yarn over most likely. I would say like 99.44% it's a missing yarn over. And she said, and I said my most common place was in row 11. It's the yarn over after the last 3-2 stitch, because the way that the pattern is written on row 9, you are doing a yarn over and then the 3-2, and on row 11 it's the 3-2 and then the yarn over. But it's very, very easy to forget to do that last yarn over before working the final stitches before the border. So keep that in mind. And let me know, Darla, if that helps or if you're still having trouble. And Mary T says, here's mine so far. I am loving the pattern. And Stacy L says, I'm happy to report I have 4.5 sections complete so far. I love it. It looks like you're using the Jody Long tweed yarn too. Very, very pretty. Was there, I thought I heard someone on Zoom. Did someone have a question for me? Anyone? No? Okay, I'll keep going. Okay, oh, I think we did pages. So the last one I have to share with you all before I share something exciting I've been working on in the background for you was Pat Ocarp on Ravelry knit their Trust Fall Shawl for an LYS sample. She used I think it was a Juniper Moon Farm. I think it was Zoe was the yarn, which is a cotton and linen blend, which is a beautiful yarn. But Pat said they would use a yarn with a little bit more give in the future, especially because of that 3 to 2 stitch where you're trying to get in there and stretch it over the other two. So she found that to be a little bit difficult. So the exciting thing I wanted to share with you all, and then I'll open it up. I'll stop sharing. And if you have any questions for me or anything that you want to share, you're welcome to unmute and all of those things. So what I wanted to share is what I've been working on in the background for you all is what I'm calling Double Dare. And it is a free, we'll start with saying it's free. It's a 5-day double knitting challenge where I'm going to teach you how to knit. It's two-sided stockinette and the sides are knit at the same time. And I think that you'll really enjoy it. I think that you'll love it. It's a neat little thing to add to your toolbox as a knitter, something that I was challenged, not really challenged, but one of the wonderful members of my Stitch Society group sent me a gift. She sent me a double-sided coaster that she had created in a workshop, and she sent it to me as a gift. And I took it as a challenge to design. I had done double knitting before, but I hadn't designed anything. So I took it as a challenge to design a challenge for you. So in just 5 days, you'll learn to master the colorful two-sided reversible technique of double knitting. And we're going to start on Tuesday, June 11th. It'll go through Saturday, June 15th. I'm going to be live each day teaching you a different part of the coaster. So we'll start with how to cast on for double knitting, and then we will talk about how to knit where it's just a solid color on each side of your project. And then, I'm gonna stop sharing so you can see me. So this is the coaster that we're gonna do. Put it on this side so you can see me. There it is. So on one side, it has the gold background, and on the other side, it has the beige background. So it's the same, it's mirrored on both sides. And so we're going to talk about first, we'll talk about knitting the cast on. We'll talk about how to knit the solid part. Then we'll talk about how to do the design. We'll talk about how to finish it. And as a bonus, I'm even going to talk a little bit about and give you graph paper that you can use if you want to design your own coaster. So you can kind of color in the squares. And I'll show you how to read double knitting charts so that you understand them. You'll get a copy of the pattern to follow along. And it's a fun next step if you're comfortable with your knits and purls. So if you're knitting the Trust Fall Shawl, then this is something that you can do because you know your knits and you know your purls if you're knitting this shawl. The idea is that, so it's a reversible fabric. It has 2 layers. You want to use contrasting colors of yarn. It will make it much easier to see which strand you need to work with. Each stitch is worked with both yarn colors alternating to create pairs of knitted stitches. It's really not as hard as it might sound. I'll give you a couple tips if you make a mistake for how to unknit or how to fix those little errors. The nice thing about double knitting is that it allows you to create intricate color work patterns, but it doesn't have the same limitations of things like Fair Isle or intarsia or even mosaic knitting. It's great for scarves, for blankets, for pot holders, for coasters. It's practical, and I'm going to teach you, I'm going to walk you, I'm going to hold your hand step by step through this So we're still working on our shawls, but maybe you need a little break, a little small, different challenge, a little palette cleanser of a project. That feeling of in a few days being able to go from casting on to binding off, because it's really not a lot of yarn that is used in it. And again, it's free. um, and so I'll share the link. The welcome email is not set up yet, but it will be this afternoon. In order to sign up, all you need to go to this page. You can read through all of the information and fill in the sign up form at the bottom. It's just your first name, last name, and your email address. So there's no payment required or any of that. And if you have any questions about double knitting or anything about the challenge, then please reach out to me, let me know. But I answer a lot of the stuff on the sign up page and also in the welcome email. So you can just putting the link in the chat for you all. And yeah, if anyone has any questions about the shawl or the challenge, everyone's always asking me, what are we doing next? So this is next. I get a lot of questions and comments about, I want to join you for the next thing. So I love being able to share that with you all. So let me put the link in the Zoom as well. And then I'll share it in the Facebook group and you'll get an email, an invitation for that too. So I'm going to remove my spotlight so I can see all of you that are here that have joined us live, and also to those of you who are here live on YouTube. If you are watching and you have any questions that I didn't address, feel free to reach out to me and let me know what I can do to help you. And feel free to unmute if you're here with us on Zoom. And if you have questions for me or just want to say hi. All right, if not, then I'm gonna say thank you to all of you who joined me here for this. To all of you who have helped me in supporting yarn shops through this design. And if you have questions or need any help with anything, feel free to reach out and send me a message and say hi. Waving to Sylvia. And is that your grand niece? We can say hi.
That's Olivia. She's
Hi,
who
Olivia.
I watch down here.
You've gotten so big.
Right?
I'm a third grader now.
You are. I know your Aunt Sylvia when she's in New York from the yarn store. I bet you know all about the yarn.
From the yarn store.
Yeah.
Cancel.
Yeah.
Calling urgent response.
All
I
right.
got my response. Okay.
Thank
Your
you
call is-
so much to everyone for joining me.
I'm looking forward to the double knitting. I think I'm going to make coaster sets for some
we were talking
people.
about that the other day. That the
Yeah, I thought I'd make
it.
4. I'll see how they come. I'll just make sure I have enough yarn. But I thought that would be really a nice little gift, you know?
Yeah, you can start on your holiday gift making in June.
Yes, always holiday.
Get a head start, right? Or housewarming gifts.
Yeah, no, those are great things.
Yeah. All right. Thank you everyone for
Bye,
joining.
everyone.
We'll talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye.